Hey everybody, welcome to my channel. This is Luna Noir. I'm gonna give you an anime review about the anime Another. I apologize if there's any, background noise. I'm still working on getting a decent recording place. And also, I'm sorry for all of my reviews so far. I haven't been showing myself. My camera still isn't working. I haven't gotten to my tech person yet, but I will do that as soon as I possibly can. So maybe the next time you see me, if you check out my events channel, um, or my events videos, then that's probably the next time you see me because in July I'm going to an anime convention. And I'll be sure to document what happens there for you guys. Anyway, back to the anime. I want to talk to you about, like I said, the anime Another. It's pretty fascinating to me, how one little incident can snowball into a full spiral of events. The anime follows Koichi Saki, I'm sorry, Sakakibara, as he transfers to a school in his mom's hometown. He lives with his grandparents and his aunt, who happens to be a teacher at the school that he goes to. Um, in the class that he transfers into, which is I'm sorry, I caught a cold, so clearing my throat is like really gonna be happening throughout the entire video. Anyway, he transfers into the ninth grade class 3, which is a quote unquote cursed classroom. Every year they draw lots to select who's gonna be the invisible student. Basically, this student is unacknowledged for the entire year and basically has to completely deal with being secluded from everyone else. Is in part with a ritual that goes on. Um, so a girl named Misaki is selected to be the invisible one, and things were going fine until Koichi transferred into the class and he spoke to her at the hospital not knowing about the rule. And once people realized that he was talking to her, they didn't like it, so they tried, even after the fact, um, keeping him in the loop about things. But even so, it was kind of too late because really terrible things started happening. Like on almost every episode, people die. Um, some kind of not related because in one of the episodes, okay, let me backtrack. When we first see Koichi, he's visited in the hospital by some of his new classmates because he's not entirely healthy. So a nurse that he would talk to in the hospital, in one of the episodes, she died, but that was thought to not be kind of related, in my opinion, to the classroom curse, because the elevator in the hospital where she worked at was pretty old, so it it just suddenly gave out. But what's sad is that he was talking on the phone with her when it happened, so he heard everything. The elevator cable snapping, the whole thing crashing down on her, her dying breath and everything. But continuing, he got so fascinated by Masaki, he just didn't care about the rule. He cared about it kind of, but not completely to the point where he would follow it, because given that he's an outsider, he doesn't know like all the traditions or customs or anything for this classroom, because no one is actually willing to tell him anything. Um. Anyway, like they do get into depth as to what happened and why they started this. Apparently, like some years prior, there was a girl who was also named Misaki that was in that class who died. And she was a very popular student, so given the fact that she died, like this whole student body, or rather her classmates, were pretty upset about it. So as a way to keep on like she's still there, they addressed her empty desk like she was there. Like even a teacher played a part in that, and they even brought the desk to their graduation. But the thing that really kind of scared people was the fact that when they took their class photo, even though Misaki was already dead and buried, she still showed up in the photo. So I guess they started this as a way to kind of keep up with that tradition, but instead they changed it into making one person the invisible one. And in one of the episodes, Misaki was talking with Koichi and told him how she became the invisible one. They drew the entire class, um, got together and like I guess they tore a piece of paper and like colored one paper, or like put a marking on one of the papers. So whoever got the paper with the marking was to be the invisible one. One student got it, but she kind of broke down under the pressure and thought of being the invisible one because she already had started making friends. So being the outcast really kind of would have, I don't know. Like I think they said some people did it, and it probably led to them really going out of their mind and possibly going the suicidal route. So to cope with this, the current Misaki that we see in the show decided to be the invisible one because she already thought she had no presence whatsoever to begin with, and she doesn't exactly have friends, so she was fine with it. We also get in a little bit of her backstory, like the person that we think is her mother is like I think her aunt, and she had a cousin who was her identical twin that died. Um, so her aunt simply took her in or whatever. I don't remember all the details. I have to, I think, rewatch the anime because it's been a while since I saw it. But anyway, that's some things. And like I said, like in almost every episode, someone dies. I mentioned the nurse's death. In one episode, there was a kid who had a heart attack, but I don't think that was fully related to the classroom curse because I think they said he was kind of unhealthy to begin with. Um, in another episode, Koichi and some of his classmates went on a trip, and a kid died. One of his classmates died, but they thought like his death was like not completely related because the day of the trip, he had fallen down the steps in his own home and didn't go to the hospital because he might have had a potential head injury, which caused him to die in the water. But then the kicker was he also got ran over and mutilated by a oncoming speedboat, so people thought that was related to the classroom curse. Um, in another episode, a student tried leaving with her family, but she and her family ran off a cliff after I think a boulder came down and like kind of knocked them off the road. And in that same episode, a student was going home, and her little brother happened to be home, and a crane that was left unattended for like a couple of minutes ran down the hill and crashed into his room, ultimately killing him. So yeah, like one little unknown event just snowballed into a full spiral of unfortunate events. And to combat this, the students thought maybe if they went to um, on a class trip to a shrine, that maybe with good blessing they could prevent the rest of the year from being like this. It turns out that the day they went to the beach, they met up with someone who was actually in that same class like a few years prior, who went on this class trip, and something really weird happened. Like they went to the shrine to pray, and I thought everything would be okay then. So they were going back down the mountain to the residence they were staying at for the night because it was like I think a 2-day trip. And on the way back down, someone who unfortunately was smart enough to bring an umbrella because it was raining, because it was gonna rain during that trip, was struck by lightning and like immediately died. And then another student fell down the cliff, and I guess she died too. because all we saw was her falling. We didn't see like the results of that. So then this guy, as a student, got into a conflict with one of his classmates and accidentally killed him. But like after that, he started asking about that person, but no one seemed to have any memories of said person. He even went back to where the person's body should have been, but there was nothing there. So basically, his thought on that was that that person was actually a ghost, and that's another thing that ties into the classroom curse. There's all in like every class, there's one person that's a ghost, and um, should that like they have to figure out who that person is, and he recorded that onto a tape and left it. Koichi and some of his friends, including Masaki, found it and heard that. And they were trying, and like on that class trip that they took to the shrine, they were trying to figure out what they were going to do. But then a classmate who was kind of a little out of her mind, because the guy that got mutilated by the boat happened to be her boyfriend. I guess she overheard them talking about it, went into their room and took the tape and broadcasted it at the little inn where where all the students were staying. So that one little thing caused everyone to go into a mass panic because they already thought that Masaki was a ghost, and like she was everyone's main target. Also, what I didn't mention was that throughout some of the sequence of this anime, Koichi started getting lumped in with Misaki and started getting treated as the invisible one as well, which he didn't mind as long as he could stay around Misaki because he wanted to help her. I guess that was in his nature and everything. Anyway, so after that whole reveal thing about finding the ghost and sending the dead back to the dead and everything, everyone started targeting Misaki, and it just led to like a whole spiral of from them targeting her to targeting everyone else to see who the ghost was. So like a good probably 10% of that one class was killed off throughout the whole sequence of that. And somehow the innkeeper got caught up with that too. I don't know what happened. We just saw her go crazy. And then after a good majority of the students got out alive, and some, of course, died, it turned out the dead person was actually Koichi's aunt. I forget how they say she is the dead person, but like basically the extra person who they believe is a ghost always is marked by like an extra desk or whatever, which for this case kind of happened to be Koichi because he was an unexpected transfer. But the extra desk happened to be his aunt's desk in this teacher's lounge or whatever. So once Koichi had to come to the painstaking decision that he had to kill her, no one the next day had any memories of her. In the class picture they took, she didn't turn up in the picture. And it was just like, I guess, peace for the rest of that time. But, this whole thing probably could have been avoided if the first time his classmates visited him, Koichi, they told him about the classroom rules. But then that probably wouldn't make for an interesting anime. So I'm a little happy it happened that way. So yeah, like tell me your thoughts on this. Give this anime a view for yourself, because I know I left a lot of things out and a lot of facts got mixed around. But like I said, yeah, give me your thoughts on it. Share this video. Subscribe to my channel for more content. Hit like, and I will see you in the next video. Luna out.